Assalamu alaikum. What's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. So, in this video, we are gonna be talking about synchronous as well as asynchronous programming in Dart. Okay, so before that, the people who are watching me from Pakistan, I wish you a happy Independence Day and may Allah bless our country. Ameen. Okay, so for this tutorial, I am using the Dartpad because we don't need to use the emulator anymore. Okay, so first we'll dive into what's the difference between asynchronous and synchronous, and then we'll look both of them with an example. Okay, so a synchronous in synchronous programming, it blocks the other statements from execution until it executes itself. And about asynchronous programming, it does the opposite. It allows the other statements to run once it gets executed. For asynchronous programming in Dart, we need to use the future class. Basically, there are two ways. We can also use the stream class as well. Since Dart is single threaded like JavaScript, so we need to use the future class, and for its handling, we need to use the async and await keywords as well. Okay, so let's dive into synchronous programming example first, and then we'll look into the async one. Let's say I have a function. I just name it test function, and in this function I will use a for loop from integer I equals 1 to I is less than 11. Since I need to execute from 1 to 10, that's why I is less than 11, and I plus plus, and then I will print value is I. And in the main function, I will pass this function with another two print statements, test function and let's say statement before and a statement after. Okay, so let's put it this way. First I will execute the function and then we'll print those two statements. Okay, so when I run this code, okay, so as you can see, this for loop executed first from loop 1 to 10 and then two print statements executed. Since we know about synchronous programming, it blocks other statements from execution until it executes itself first. So it means that if this loop were from I to even 5000, it would execute to 5000 first, from 1 to 5000, and then it would execute the two print statements. Let's say I have the same function which I can use for asynchronous programming. For that, I will use future dot delayed, since we have to use future once we are using asynchronous programming. Okay, so future dot delayed, which have a duration. Let's say I want to execute this statement after 3 seconds. And I will paste this. And since I made this function as asynchronous, so I will need to pass the future. And since we are not returning any statement, we don't have any return statement, so I will use the void. So I made this function as asynchronous, and now we will execute the code. Okay, so you must have seen the difference. The two print statements executed first, and then our loop gets executed from 1 to 10, just because we have applied the future.delayed, and after 3 seconds this got executed. So as per the definition of asynchronous programming, asynchronous allows the other statements to execute first once it itself gets executed. So this function got executed, and so this function got executed after 3 seconds, and it also allowed the other statements to execute first. So that's why this two statements got executed first and then the async function. Okay, so let's dive into example number 2. I will comment out this code. So let's say I have another function, asynchronous function with a return type of integer, and this function calculates the square of number which I will provide in the parameter. So I will name it calculate square, which requires one parameter number, and I will use the same statement future dot delayed with duration this time 2 seconds. And before this future statement, I will just initialize a variable which will calculate the square, and it will return the statement. Okay, so after 2-second delay, I need to calculate the square of number. So number into number. And after this future.delayed statement, I will return this value. Okay, so as you can see, it has an error. A value of type integer cannot be returned from the function calculate square because it has a return type of future of integer. Since this function contains a return type, so I will use the async keyword for that, and it will solve. So I will just paste this function here, and let's say I need to calculate the square of 6 and run this method. Okay, so I haven't applied any print statement, but program ran successfully. Okay, since we are using future, so we can use then function as well. Future dot then, and I will use the value as parameter, since when this function gets executed, it stores the result onto this value, and in this value I can print the value dot toString. And if for any reason this function returns an error, so we have another function of catchError. catchError, which stores the error in this e, and I can also print this e dot toString. And when I run this code, it is returning with value 0. The reason for that is, since we are using the asynchronous programming, you can see that I have initialized this value, integer value, with 0, and after 2-second delay, this value is storing the square of number, and then it is returning the value. Since I have used this async keyword, so I have to use the await before this future.delay. Then it will store the square of number to this value, and it will return the value then. Okay, let's run this code again, and after 2-second delay we got our result. 6 into 6 is 36. Now what if I copy this function and paste this between the two statements? Now what if I want this, so what if I want that this command should be executed, the print statement first, and then this function. Until and unless this function gets executed, I don't want the another statement to execute until the first one gets executed. So for that I have to make this main method asynchronous. For that I will apply asynchronous before the function brackets, and before this function I will just apply await keyword. So here it will play the role of synchronous programming. So let's run this code, and you can see that the first one got executed, and after a 2-second delay this function first executed and then this statement. So if I increase the duration from 2 seconds to let's say 20 seconds, so it will wait until 20 seconds and then it will print the next statement. So in this video we saw what's the difference between synchronous and asynchronous programming, and we also implemented that with examples. So that's all from this video, guys. I hope you like it, and if you did, please share this video with your friends and like this video and comment if you have any kind of queries, and please subscribe to this channel, and for more videos hit that bell icon. And once again, people from Pakistan, I wish you a very happy Independence Day. Take good care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.